What did we just watch? Me and Dustin are going to try and figure it out. We just got back from seeing Cuckoo today. Uh, I would say what Neon's second biggest movie of the year so far. Got to be it's got to be
Probably
behind Long
long
Legs for
legs.
sure. But this
Yeah.
movie definitely caught our attention in the past. I know me and you have texted about it in the past, seeing the trailer, going to see other horror movies in the past for this show. Just general thoughts. This is a weird one. I got an
Hmm.
A24 shirt on, the Midsommar one. Bought that one. Shout out to them.
Love that. Love that.
Neon, if y'all want me to rip a shirt, make one and I'll definitely buy it and wear it. But whew, this definitely gives you some A24 vibes. I think you would agree with that. This is a weird movie. It's got a weird premise. I think the acting is really good. It's a unique story for sure, unique content, original content. I can't never get mad about that, even if I don't like it. At least it's not
Hmm.
Annabelle 47. So I'll give it praise for being new, but it's a strange one. I don't think the Brian Hathaways of the world will like this kind of a movie. Uh, just being honest. That's just my general
Yeah.
thoughts. What do you think, Dustin?
So this is the third Neon movie that I've seen in theater this year. The first one was Immaculate. The second was Long Legs, and then this one. Um, I don't know. It's a toss up between Immaculate and this one as far as which one I like least. And this movie's got some really good things about it. You said it, it's original, which shout out to Neon because like A24, they're pumping out the original content, and I love that. I will not get mad at it. I will not, even if the movie sucks, I won't get mad about wasting my time to see it because it's something I haven't, it's a story I haven't seen before. Um, this movie, Joe, it just doesn't explain enough for me. Like abstract movies are one thing, like movies that make you think and really question what's going on, that's fine. But when something is happening, visibly happening, and it's just like, we're not going to address why that's happening, we're not even going to give you a clue so you can try to decipher for yourself why that's happening, I have problems with that. So I think before we go any further, we're going to do spoilers in this, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think this movie's got a limited release, so if you don't see it tonight, tomorrow, you're probably not going to. So we'll just go ahead and spoil it. Um, yeah, okay. General thoughts. It's original, but it confused the shit out of me. And then we'll get into pros and cons, and I'll break it down a little bit more. So back to you.
Oh yeah. All right. Positives. Let's just do our positives first. You text me earlier. The movie looks great. There's a lot of great shots, beautiful nature shots. The setting is gorgeous. I think
Mm-hmm.
Hunter Schafer acts her ass off. I think she does a great job. I think let's give a big shout out to old Dan Stevens for this year. You know, we've mentioned Giancarlo Esposito for Annabelle, Jesus Christ, Abigail, and for Maxine. Dan Stevens stole the show for me and Abigail. I thought he was fantastic, and he had a incredible accent in this movie. Just a nuance, a cadence. Dan Stevens steals the show for me. I thought he was great. Uh, good gore when there is some. I don't think. I mean, it's not a gore porn kind of movie. Not a lot of gore, but you know, it's
Stay
got some
away.
violence. It's got some gore. Uh, the hooded lady that chases Gretchen and is
Mm-hmm.
in the end predominantly that thing was creepy. Like that woman was pretty scary to me. Like just the gaze, the look, the nature of that beast. Like it was creepy to me. Like the eyes glowing through the sunglasses. I thought it was unique. Uh, what kind of positives you working with? We'll just bounce off of each other so we don't steal each
So
other's thunder
yeah,
too much.
yeah. So I texted you that the cinematography. I think there were some really good shots in it. We've both already mentioned it, but I'm going to praise it again. The originality. This is a brand new story. It is kind of weird that cuckooing is making such a like that's the new wave. Like cuckooing was the theme in Long Legs. He actually cuckooed, and there's some theories about why he cuckooed, with what cuckooing is. This movie's called Cuckoo. It's just weird that it's a weird coincidence. I'm sure they both come from the same studio, but nonetheless, um, I think that beyond the cinematography and set design, there were some great choices as far as costumes go too, as well. And what I mean by that is the colors. Like it's easy to just say put a shirt on, but I think the colors worked really well to really give us some beautiful shots in this movie. I'm gonna something in the costume is driving me crazy. I'm gonna save it for the cons, but I think that the Man, I'm really really trying here. Yeah, you mentioned Dan Stevens, phenomenal job acting. Hunter Schafer, phenomenal job acting. Uh, what's his name? Martin Sakis. I think he did an okay job acting, but more importantly, I think the family dynamic was portrayed really nicely. You had a daughter that felt like she was intruding on her dad's family. You had a sister, the little sister, who just wanted to be there and wanted to be wanted to be sisters with her big sister. And then you had the big sister finally say, "Yes, you are my sister. I love you." And their dynamic grew, and she ended up protecting her in the end. So I think that all that's really nice. And yeah, so go ahead, and if I think of any more, I'll bounce off you, or we can move to cons.
No, I got some more positives too. I think the movie it makes you feel isolated with Gretchen. Like they're in Germany, they're building this new resort for what or whatever, and like you kind of feel like she doesn't understand a lot of the language, like the culture, and you kind of feel that a lot as well. And there's a lot of creepy, like the movie's not overly scary, but there are some like tense, creepy moments, like when she's riding her bike
Yep,
home
ride the
and
bike.
the
I was
person's
going to say that.
chasing, like the person chasing her is like not even the scariest part to me. It's just riding the bike down this dark road and you see someone like running their ass off in the field beside you. It's like, do I keep going or do I just stop right here and let them get some distance on me? Like that was
Mhm.
creepy. Uh, and even like when she gets to the hospital and like she's still being chased and like hits her head and all that, like you can tell something's going on with just the hospital and everything because like they're not really giving her great care. Like that was some of the worst like staple stitches I've ever seen. Like is that effective? Like it, it didn't even look like it closed the wound up really.
Yeah, they needed to close the gap a little bit more for the staples to work so that the skin can grow back together. But yeah,
I think the movie does a great job making you feel kind of alone and isolated with Gretchen.
yeah. I think the setting does, the setting having it take place at this resort is perfect for that. And you mentioned the bike ride there. Specifically for me, it was just she's on the bike and then she sees something in the shadow and then she looks closer and it's like just seeing that hand reach out. It's very quick in the shadow. It's like, oh
Mm.
shit, that's good. And also something I wanted to call out that was good for me was this is not a horror comedy. This is a horror movie, but there's a couple things that are fucking hilarious, and it's because of how they're delivered and the timing of it. For instance, when Gretchen asked, "Why are we here?" and uh, Herr Koenig said, "This is where your family's supposed to be," or whatever. She just goes, "See, what the fuck was that?" Like
Yeah,
that was funny.
yeah.
That was
That's a
funny.
weird
So,
answer.
that's a weird fucking way to say that. Yeah, yeah. So that's some good shit too. Um, yeah, go ahead.
I think you're itching to get into your cons because just go ahead and get started with your cons. It's more. I don't really have cons. I'm just my con is I'm confused.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
my biggest con. I'm confused. And disclaimer: this is the first time we ever seen the movie. It was in the theater, so you can't rewind. There's not subtitles throughout, so you're probably gonna miss something, or you're not gonna pick up on everything. But I mean, the movie's still confusing. Like, what the hell's going on?
So for me, I don't think a second watch is going to help it because I paid really good close attention to this movie. Not saying I didn't miss anything, but the things that I feel like I'm missing, I'm not going to get on a second rewatch because I don't think they were explained. So I'm fine with the concept. There's an ancient being or whatever. I think that's what he called them, and they're going extinct. They need to breed them to keep them alive. That's fine. That premise is good. However, and I also like the call, the cuckoo and call, like having this trance like effect so that they can do their business. That's cool. That explains it. Like that shows why they're able to breed with people because it entrances them. Whatever. Fine. What I don't like though, what I don't understand is during this process, couple things. Number one, why do they get stuck in this loop? And I'm not gonna lie, the first time that happened, I didn't know that's what was happening. I was like, "What the fuck? Did the film just skip? Like, did
Yeah,
it just just glitch,
yeah.
skip?"
It's like,
But
why is this playing over and over?
yeah. Oh, and that bothers me that we don't explain because we kind of get it explained to us that she has this trance like thing. You cover your ears, you won't hear her or if you don't hear the sound, you're immune, whatever. But why things keep happening over and over and over until they sneak up on you and do their business? Why? Don't makes no fucking sense to me. The second thing that I don't like or don't understand is why, when the breeding is about to commence, does the mother reach down and grab a handful of smegma and offer it up as like a peace treaty? The fuck are we doing here? That's gross.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that. Third thing, I don't like how the mother, the woman that was chasing her, the blonde, I don't like how she was dressed. Her wardrobe was fucking ridiculous to me. She looked like it was a Halloween costume of someone trying to play a 1950s mom on vacation. She had like a scarf tied over her head or something, some goofy sunglasses. What is that costume design? Like, that's not scary to me at all. Now, she was scary when she started screaming and her face was all stretched and distorted and the sound was hideously horrible. But why was she dressed like that? It was like, come on, man. But go ahead with some of
I
your
mean, it
cons,
might
and I'll.
might just be Germany's fashion. Like I don't know. Like I'll be honest with you, it kind of looked like a throwback Jennifer Tilly outfit, like
Yeah,
playing poker back in the day. It looked like one of those
yeah.
outfits. Like it didn't really bother me, but
She looked
I
like
get
Thelma
what
and Louise. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
yeah, I get where you're coming from for sure. I mean, my biggest cons of the movie is personally, I do think the movie kind of drags in some spots. But it gets like really, it is kind of like Long Legs in the fact that it kind of drags, but then it gets really action packed. Then it kind of like slows down. It's just got a weird pacing issue. It's not a huge issue, but I did feel it some. My biggest issue with the movie is just it's confusing. Like it's hard to keep up with everything that's going on. Uh, it's just such a weird premise, and like you mentioned, like shit just gets weird out of nowhere, and you're like, what just happened? Like why is this girl's like throat like doing this like convulsing motion, like there's weird noise,
Mm-hmm.
and you keep reliving the same moment over and over and over. Like I don't know what's going on. And they kind of explain it, but kind of not. I mean, I don't remember everything, so I mean, it wasn't well explained. I don't think. But like I
Not
said,
at all.
maybe another rewatch, some YouTube ending explains will help me know everything. But just a lot to keep up with personally.
Absolutely. So I got a couple more things I wrote down while you're talking there. Cons. You mentioned the throat convulsions or whatever you want to call it. I don't like how that was shown. Like, it was so, like, it looked like we were down the throat, and but it wasn't even a clear look. But we just saw something like pumping,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be for a couple seconds at a time. It's like, oh, that doesn't serve a purpose. It doesn't have the effect that you want it to have. I don't feel like, because I can't tell what the fuck we're looking at. Now, the other times you can see the skin, you can see it was actually skin we're looking at. That's fine. You can see it's their throat. But the times when it was red, it literally looked like we were looking down their throat. I didn't like that. Um, Henry. Henry's a good guy. Henry's helping. He'll protect Gretchen. But when he shoots Herr Koenig and they're sitting there regrouping, they had a touching moment. She reaches out and grabs his hand, says, call her voicemail. That might help you. It helped me with my mom. Touching. But then she starts puking, and but right before, he starts laughing maniacally, and then she starts puking, and he goes, "Not in here." Like, that, to me, that was a tone change in his character, how he was acting the rest of that scene. Like, he had no
Mm-hmm.
like, he wasn't concerned with her. He wasn't trying to help her. He wasn't saying, comforting her, "You're going to be okay." It was not in here. The fuck? Like, she's puking, dude. And then two more things, and I'll shut up. I absolutely hated the ear covering at the end,
Oh my! I was gonna say
because
the same thing,
like, the headphones are one thing, like those are noise
but
canceling headphones they're wearing. Yes.
come on.
And then the earbuds is even another thing, because you got music playing, maybe it muffles it enough. But she literally put her arm over her head and put one, her bicep to one ear and her hand covering the other. And that was supposed to be strong enough to keep the screeching from
Yeah,
penetrating her
I
ear
ain't
holes.
buying it.
No. The fuck? And then even the little girl, Soo Young, when she was running, and she said, "Cover your ears and stay close to me." Like, she just had her hands cupped over her ears. That's not, that doesn't work. But the most egregious thing in this movie is Ed, the uh, the traveling tourist who wants to take her back to Paris. I looked it up. I don't know how she was in the movie, but in real life, she was born in 1986, and in the movie, Gretchen is 17. A little bit creepy, a little creepy. You know, what kind of ditty parties you throwing over there? So
Is
that's a little weird.
is it the one that Gretchen was making out with, smoking, and they took off the first time in Rick?
I believe so. It's kind of confusing because they don't say her name at all in the movie. And looking through the cast, no one really looks like her, and half the cast doesn't even have pictures on IMDb. But I
Yeah,
believe that Ed is the girl that she came in and flirted with her, and she didn't charge her for the room. And then they start making out while Gretchen's holding a cigarette, stroking her hair. Her hair is going to smell like shit the next few days.
yeah,
But it's like, dude, you're making out from in front of a tree with a 17-year-old, you fucking pervert. Like you're 30, what is that? 1986, 38 years old? Jesus Christ, lady. Anyway,
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to believe that either of them survived that crash either. I mean,
And
I mean,
then
at
maybe
least, I mean, it look. I
maybe the
mean,
crash never even happened. They just
maybe it
were
didn't
on loop.
happen.
Who fucking
Maybe it didn't
knows?
happen. But I mean, the thing is, like, if Ed was the one driving and crashed, that beast lady or whatever, the hooded woman, grabbed her out of the car and chunked her ass on top of it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
we got Chad Meeks over here.
Yeah, she got pulled out and flung like it was nothing. Yet at the hospital later on, she's in better shape than Gretchen is. Like Gretchen
Yeah.
is banged the fuck up. Like how? What?
I mean, if it's the same person, but like you mentioned, if you look on IMDb, there's half the cast don't have any pictures and name is just like hooded woman, tourist. So it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to be in a movie this big, like you're not going to take a headshot. Like, I don't know how this business works, but goodness gracious, take a headshot so we know who you are, for Pete's sake,
Yeah.
so we can at least shout you out
Exactly.
for being a
Or
creeper making out with a 17-year-old.
yeah, let us shout you out for that, fucking creeper. Actually, I'm not gonna put that on Ed, who was played by Astrid Burgess Frisbee. I'm gonna put that on Tillman Singer. Tillman, you wrote this movie, you directed it. It's a fine movie, I guess. Like there's things that we've had issues with, we told you about, but that's egregious. Write that a little
Yeah,
bit. I know Europe has different laws as far as the age of certain things, and we're not going to get into that. As an
yeah,
American,
because I don't know honestly.
my moral standard is that's twice her age, my guy. That's not okay.
I mean, all right, let's just jump into overall. Letter. I know you're big into letterbox. 1 to 5. We'll just do. Let's do a few different ones. Let's try something different. On the
Okay.
scary factor, 1 to 5. I'm at a one and I'm like at like a one. It's not scary.
Okay. Are you including just tension
All right, we'll do
or
scary, creepy, and tension, atmosphere, all of it. I'll do a 3 if we're factoring all of it.
okay? So scary, yeah, one. It's not very scary. Um, tension, I'll say 3 out of 5 tension because it's there's long stretches without the tension, so it dies down. But when it's on there, it's pretty effective. And then what was the other one? Tension,
Like
scary,
atmosphere, mood, and all
atmosphere.
that. Yeah,
I think that they knocked you out of the park. I'll say 4.5 on that because the atmosphere, the setting, the score, all of it was really good.
yeah. Like cinematography wise, that'd probably be like a 4.5. Like it was really good cinematography. I can't
Yeah,
complain about that at all. Acting, probably about a 3.5, 4. Like it was all good. You just didn't know like I just wasn't familiar with the cast outside of Dan Stevens really.
yeah, sure, I agree.
Uh, Gore, what 3? I mean, it was pretty good. Like what we saw. There wasn't a
But I'm
lot
trying
of
to
it, but
think the other than her head getting stapled shut, was there any?
there was like gunshot. I guess gunshot blood, but I mean, it didn't look paint. I mean, we can give it credit. It didn't look bad, I guess.
Yeah, the blood looked good. I will say too though that Herr Koenig and Henry, some of the worst shots I've ever seen in my
Oh,
life.
terrible! Like, what are you shooting at?
And oh, glad I thought about this. How many bullets are in that damn clip of that pistol? Because
How
other
many
dudes
clips did
got,
they have?
oh, how many clips they have, sure, but why was a pistol needing to reload change clips at the same rate as that other gun, which holds more ammo? Like that
Yeah,
didn't make sense. And then also, while they're having this shootout, okay, corral style, you've got Alma and Gretchen in this side room, and Gretchen's telling her, "I love you. I'll never hurt you." Blah blah blah. Not a single shot was fired during that entire speech. Get
Yeah,
fucking real.
it made
Get
no sense.
real.
It made no sense. I guess we just. I mean, they weren't even like speaking out loud. It was sign language, so it's not like you're.
Yeah.
It's not like you're.
That's why I think that's why I noticed it so much. Is because like it's just silent, and there's
Yeah,
no. I remember. Wait, aren't they supposed to be shooting each other? They're playing spy versus spy out there, and they're just fucking taking a break.
yeah, taking a break. Our overall letterbox rating, I'm probably at like I'll give it a 3. I don't want to go 2.5. Like I don't. I think it's better than a 5, but I'm in like that 6 range probably just off my first watch. I mean, it could go up, it could go down. I think it's got the potential to go up more than down though, just because I like weird. Like, what the fuck is this kind of movie?
And I do too, but I went a little bit more harsh than you, which is pretty standard actually. But I gave it
Yeah,
a 2 out of 5. And my letterbox review, which I've already typed up, says it's original content, which is great, but what? I would have liked to have had it explained a little bit more. And I'm sorry, but putting your hands over your ears isn't going to mute the sounds. Get real. So
yeah. I mean, not something that loud. I mean, that's just. I
no,
mean, the way they set the movie up, like that was like super loud and that was like debilitating once you heard it. So it just did. It didn't make sense. You could just barely cover your ears and it was good enough. I feel like you
yeah,
had to have some kind of headphones on, like I got. Boom, boom.
yeah. Money.
Like it was like it's cheaper than AirPods. What are you talking about?
I ain't got it. These are Timu.
That's cap. Anywho, uh, if all right, would you recommend somebody to go see it? I think so. I would
Always
recommend it.
support cinema. Like I
Absolutely,
said,
always support cinema.
I'm being dead serious. I would rather waste my time seeing an original movie than go see a movie that I've seen the story 100 times. So even a movie that's bad, I'm gonna vote, yeah, go see it, because you never know. Different strokes for different folks. You might like it. What one man's trash, another man's treasure, however cliche you want to put it. I didn't care for it, but you might. Support cinema and find out.
Absolutely, we appreciate y'all listening. I'm sure we're going to review this movie down the road for sure. So stay tuned in.